Welcome back to Jacobism, lovely people. Today's video we're going to talk about imposter syndrome, what it is, how it might feel, your reactions to it, and what to do about it. It's something that's plagued me for quite a while, and I created this video in the hope of helping others on their journeys with self-doubts and imposter syndrome, and to show you that it's not really something to worry about, or at least to unhealthy levels. It should be noted that the very nature of these feelings of self-doubt and perceived fraudulence arising are the result of doing something new and outside of one's comfort zone, and success or not, this should only be viewed positively. Before we get into this video, I'd like to share a quote by Mike Myers, the actor who brought us Austin Powers, and he said, "At any time, it feels as if the no talent police are going to find me and arrest me. Whether you're uber successful or not, that pesky syndrome will come and find you." Let's get into it. So in the first point, we're going to address some of the definitions. Imposter syndrome is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved through one's own effort or skill. It's often characterized by perceived fraudulence, self-doubt, and an obsession of one's perception to others. If any of that resonates with you, don't worry, because studies have shown that up to 82% of people have or does experience imposter syndrome at some point in their life. I will be the first to put my hand up and say I probably experience it at least a few times a week. So long as you're not a psychopath, you will likely experience it too. It's only natural because as humans, we know ourselves very well. We know all our past experiences, successes and failures, and have a tendency to remember the bad stuff before the good. Therefore, when you're doing something that can bring into question your skills or experience, you'll naturally doubt your ability to make a success of whatever you're doing. For example, let's take my channel. It's obviously new, and there isn't any evidence to suggest that it's what the market values. And so I often think, who the fuck am I to be giving advice or sharing my stories and ideas about the world? Why should I bother when eventually the audience will realize that I'm a total fraud? These unfounded questions aside, I do think I have some valuable knowledge and experiences that I believe I can contribute and will be beneficial to others. And that brings me to the point of the curse of knowledge. The curse of knowledge is the idea that what was once amazing to you is no longer to others in your view. You see, you find out a bit of information, you find it amazing and store it away, and its amazingness loses its potency, and therefore you don't think it worthwhile to share. But what one forgets is what is now old news to you could be amazing to others. Now it's time for point 2. We are going to address one's obsession of their perception to others. We all, as hard as we try, fret about what others think of us. We worry about if we said or did the wrong thing, or whether other people like or don't like us, and it can be intensely consuming. As stated before, since we are always with ourselves internally, given we know our foolish, anxious, crude and unreliable selves, we believe we couldn't possibly triumph given what we know about others. People often fret about the most trivial things and prioritize other people's opinion long before their own, but we forget that we only know others externally. One thing I've learnt in life is that people may notice you make a fool of yourself, but within about 30 seconds, they'll be back to worrying about if anybody saw them pick their nose, or if they can smell the big loser night in deal they got from Domino's last night, which vacated them in a gaseous form. We often forget, as Montaigne said, the famous French philosopher, philosophers and kings shit, as do ladies. In this third and last point, we're going to address how to overcome imposter syndrome. I have tried my hand at a number of businesses, and in the last year or so, I've ventured into other endeavors such as this YouTube channel. Some things I was more experienced or suited for than others, but the independent variable of them all was self-doubt. I doubted my ability to make a success of whatever I was doing. Despite these feelings, I was often able to step back and assess whether these thoughts were valid. Sometimes more so than others, they were generally the result of my ape brain trying to protect me. However, since I felt self-doubt in all of these ventures, I asked myself, if it doesn't matter what I'm doing, will the feeling of self-doubt and imposter syndrome ever go away? And I realized the answer was no. I then asked myself, I wonder if all these successful people that I've ever heard of experience self-doubt in their journey of blazing their respective trails. For the most part, probably yes. Therefore, if lots of people experience self-doubt, especially those that revolutionized or invented something, then self-doubt is not only a protection mechanism for fear, thanks ape brain, but also if it's never going to go away, it doesn't matter how experienced or ready that I feel I am. And so, if one is always going to experience self-doubt, you might as well assume that you're able and be bold and shoot for something that is objectively out of your sphere of competency. Now it's time to end, people. I hope that today's video has shown you that imposter syndrome can quite easily be dismantled when you pick apart the underlying premises. Remember, it is a positive experience because you are feeling self-doubt as a result of trying something new and uncomfortable. Remember, what might be boring to you could be amazing to others, so don't feel afraid to share your experiences or knowledge. And remember, people are far too concerned with themselves to ever be concerned with you and your life. Granted you aren't a psychopath, self-doubt will likely characterize all of your ventures, as success and self-doubt are not inversely correlated. And therefore, since you're not ever going to feel ready, you might as well go big. Thank you all for watching. I wish you all the best on your journeys. And if you want bragging rights for being one of the OG subscribers to Jacobism, you know what to do.